We're going to look at a bunch of different triangles and determine if we have enough information to decide if the triangles are congruent. In this first example, we have two angles that are congruent, and then another angle that's congruent, and then a side. So that's angle, angle, side, which is enough information to determine that the two triangles are congruent, because it's not angle, side, side, or backwards, side, side, angle, and it's not angle, angle, angle. Or you could have looked at it backwards and said side, angle, angle. That also would work. You just don't want to go from the angle to the side further. You want to go to whatever's closest to it. In number 2, if that's 90 degrees, then this is also 90 degrees, but we still need a third piece of information. This side is shared in both triangles, meaning that these two triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. Or you could look at it the other way, side, angle, side. The next one is angle. They both have an angle, and then a side that's shared, so that's congruent, and then another angle. So that's angle, side, angle, or again, we could have looked at it backwards and seen angle, side, angle. Number 4, we have an angle, and then another angle, and then a side. So those triangles are congruent, or we could say side, angle, angle. Number 5, the middle line, this is congruent in both triangles, making them congruent triangles. Number 6 is a little bit harder, but this part, there's a shared side in both triangles, so I'm going to do 2 little dashes there because we already did the 1 dashes here. So that would be angle, side, side, or looking at it backwards, side, side, angle, which is one of them that's not allowed to be used. But it's a right triangle, so this will work. And that's called the hypotenuse leg theorem because both hypotenuses are the same length and there's a leg that's the same length. In this next example, they both have 100 degrees and 20 degrees, and the 10 inches is between the 100 and 20, but the 10 inches here is not between the 100 and 20. So these two triangles are not congruent. Same with number 2, the side is between those two congruent angles in this triangle and not in this one. Number 3, they both have an angle that's congruent and a side that's congruent, and this side is also congruent because it's shared. So that would be by angle, side, side, or side, side, angle. But that's not allowed. We don't know necessarily that this is a right triangle, so we can't conclude that these two triangles are congruent. And finally, we have angle, 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 and that's not congruent. If you're still having trouble naming these, like number 4, for example, we couldn't call this angle, side, angle because we skipped over the stuff over here. We have to start with one of the ends, either the angle or the side, and then go to whatever is closest to it. So if we're starting with angle B, we have to go around that way. And if you didn't see the last video, this page will probably be helpful. We have the ones that we are allowed to have, the ones that we're not allowed to have. Unless it's a right triangle, we call that the hypotenuse leg theorem, and you are allowed to have that to show that two triangles are congruent.